So we're gonna try this again. How's everybody doing?
Good. Great.
Okay, so there's a rule when you go to events. The presenter's job is to get up and do the little, whatever, the whatever you call it when they walk around and do a little show or put on a show or whatever. Your job is to laugh at stupid jokes and respond when they ask questions and provide the energy. Otherwise, the presenter feels like an idiot. So that's how it works. There will be multiple people up here. See, you didn't laugh at that. We're going to try this again. You have to laugh at the stupid jokes. You got to demonstrate that you're here and that you're awake. All right, so I have 15 minutes. There's a joke in the 6th Division office of whether or not I can start anything and be done in 15 minutes, especially when I'm presenting. I'm going to do my best. Here's what I want to do really quickly. No, I'm going to actually be done in 15 minutes, so I'm not going to do this. I was going to ask where people are from. You're from all over and you're here, and that's all that matters. And we've got a lot of stuff to cover today, so we're going to dive in and get started. Question for you. Who has figured out what the heck this shirt says?
My sister did. Tracy did. And I decided to wear it.
And you decided to wear it. Okay, so this shirt, I want to start with this. There's two things I'm going to cover in the first 15 minutes. And they're what I believe are the two most important things that I could share with a group of entrepreneurs that want to come hang out with me. Number one is the shirt. So we had another shirt design that was more like this little thing right here on it. And we were talking about, okay, hey, is this little 12, 6, 17 that's kind of cute? And I was talking to Melissa and Aaron. I said, look, if we're going to put money into a shirt, it's going to mean something. And when the people that come to the event, when they go home and they put the shirt on and they look in the mirror, I want them to remember something. And I don't want them to remember that our birthday is 12, 6, 17. I don't care about that. That can go on a sticker. I want it to be something that actually impacts their life. So the word that it says is decide. You can thank J-Mac for the impressive design. He came up with it. The word is decide, and I want to tell you why decide is what I think is the single most important thing that I can share with the room. So I got a little drawing over here that we're going to do. Over here, we all have something that we want. So I'm just going to say things we want. If I had more time, I'd get into the distinction between want and I'm committed to getting, because there's a difference, but I'm going to go with want. Just know that it's a lower form of what we're actually committed to, but it's stuff that I want. It's what we wake up every day, spend all of our time and energy trying to work towards. The thing that gets us to what we want is action. There's a quote by Dale Carnegie. He says, action breeds confidence and courage. Inaction breeds doubt and fear. If you want to conquer fear, don't sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. The only way we can confidently move toward the things that we want is through taking action. Okay? Now, I'm a student of manufacturing success in my life. And when I say manufacturing, I don't mean making up fake success. I mean, I want to be able to produce it on demand. I want to have a button that I can push. I want to know what buttons to push. I don't want to wake up and cross my fingers and hope that success hits me in the face. That is not the way that I choose to go through life. So for me, I'm just a student of, okay, well, what's the formula then? And what I found is the formula to get what you want is you have to be taking action. And what I found is most people spend their life in a state of inaction. So then I said, okay, well, something has to precede action to make action actually possible. And what it is it's decide. I am more convinced than ever in my life that the fundamental key to moving your life forward is decision. And anytime you are not moving toward the thing that you want or that you're frustrated, it is because you have not decided something. Now, we play this game called mental ping pong. And who knows what I'm talking about? Okay, we're going to try this again. When I ask a question or any presenter asks a question, you got to play. Who just inherently knows what I'm talking about when I say mental ping pong?
Of course.
Okay, we play it all the time. Go back and forth. So really quickly, I want to teach you a way to decide, because there's a difference between making a decision and deciding. It goes like this. Anytime we have to decide, there's at least two options. Inherently in our mind, or sometimes on paper, if we like to write things out on a visual, what we do is we'll list off all the pros of this option, and we'll list off all the cons of this option. Which is like we do it in our mind inherently. And then we list off all the pros of this option, and we list off all the cons of this option, and we try to pretend like it's a mathematical equation, and we want the pros and the cons to tell us what to do. That's called making a decision. And what you're doing is you are delegating and outsourcing and abdicating yourself of the responsibility of just freaking deciding, because you don't want to potentially possibly be wrong. The way that you decide is that you look at all of this, and then at the end of the day, you step back and you say, I'm going with that one, because it's the one that calls to me in my gut. And if I'm wrong, then I'll change and I'll decide something new in the future, but I'm going to move forward. You cannot live your life and get towards success in the things that you want if you're playing in this land of mental ping pong. And you will never get out of mental ping pong. Mental ping pong inherently is the process of making a decision, and it goes like this. This looks really, really good, except it's not perfect. That ever happened to anyone? But it's not perfect, which, by the way, nothing ever is. Would be really good to just remind yourself constantly. Nothing ever is, so it's not perfect. Oh, but this thing over here is better than the cons of this over here. You guys following with me? This should be sort of painful as you think through this. Oh yeah, but this makes up for all of these things. But this, oh, you know what? It's not perfect either. But this over here makes up for all the cons of that option. And then where do we go? Oh, but it's not perfect. But this one over here, this literally is the figure eight of mental ping pong, back and forth. And if you've got 3 or 4 options, dude, you're screwed. It's not even, I don't know what that turns into, but it's not a figure eight, it's a figure way too many options. So the first thing, when you put this shirt on after you leave, and if you can remember anything from 6th Division that I can just like brand into your brain, it's the idea that everything starts with decide. Decide what kind of parent you want to be. Decide what kind of business leader you want to be. Decide if you're part of a team, decide what kind of team member you want to be. Decide. And then action becomes clear. There's another quote that I love. It says, in the absence of clearly defined goals, in the absence of deciding, we become strangely loyal to daily trivia until ultimately we become enslaved by it. That resonate with anyone? Yep. In the absence of a freaking decision, we will get addicted. If you ask my kids, because I taught them this, their quote is, in the absence of a clearly defined goal, we become strangely addicted to random crap that is a distraction from the thing that we actually want. Action is preceded by decision. So when you put the shirt on, the shirt is a reminder that you have to constantly be scanning your life and looking for the places where all you got to do is just decide. And then everything else will open up. Okay, any questions or comments? All right, we're done. Let's go party. That was it. Yeah, I'm just kidding. That's not all. All right, now look, here's the deal. Here's where, so know that, I got to get my slides up because I got a couple of pictures to show you real quick. Clicker. Okay. Now, this is a great, welcome. Just wanted to say welcome again. Okay, this is a great concept. It's conceptual. It's 100% true. Now, I want to show you something. I'm sure you guys have seen this. Can we flip the front lights off just a little bit? All right, so, oh, sorry, I threw this in there too. I got my family pictures back this year, and just so you know, this is what I have to deal with at home, and I think this picture is freaking hilarious.
So cute.
That is literally, anyway, okay. All right, so the shirt, that's what we're talking about. Now look, you guys have all seen this picture before? Okay, here's what we think success looks like. Okay, I just showed you what success looks like, and it's like, oh yeah, it's super easy. Conceptually, it is super easy, and the other side of this picture is that this is what it actually looks like. Now I found another one that I like better. This one. So every time we go start to do something, we have a plan. And the plan is always straight and always simple. And this is called reality. So why do I share this right now? Here's why I share it. Because this is going to happen. And I've seen way too many entrepreneurs get frustrated that things aren't perfect. They think that since it's not perfect, there's a problem. It's not the case. If it's not perfect, then you just have work to do, which, by the way, it will never be perfect. We got a lot of really good things going on here at 6th Division, and we're not perfect. And I have no aspiration or no belief that we will ever be perfect. Only that we will continue to work towards perfection. And it's going to look like this. The goal is to have these not be as deep. That's the goal. It's not actually to get to this. It's just have them not be as deep. So look, what's in the way? What creates that? Okay, so here's what creates it. It's this word. It's what creates deciding, and it's what stops deciding. It's what stops actions. It's what stops action. Got to get my S's in the right place. And it's minutia. And I think that's how you spell it. Here's what minutia is. Minutia is simply, I don't know how to do it in the most efficient and effective way possible. Oh, it's just 5 minutes? Yeah, okay, 5 minutes. 5 minutes-ish, okay. So what gets in the way is minutia. Anything that you go to do, you're trying to figure out how to raise your kids, trying to figure out how to teach your kids, anything that gets in the way of anything that you're trying to do is minutia. It means I don't know the best way to do it. I'm stuck. I'm trying to figure this out. Our entire business, my entire life is architected around, I want to figure out how to eliminate minutia, because when minutia is gone, the people that are on the earth that are amazing and can serve the world can actually go make an impact. So what we're going to talk about today is how to eliminate minutia. Now, I have a belief. The way that you eliminate minutia, the antidote for minutia is systems, processes, and frameworks. I only have 5 minutes, so now you're just getting the first letter of the words. Systems, processes, and frameworks are the antidote for minutia. Okay, so what I want to share with you really quickly so you have context for what we're going to cover today is a thing that I call a clicker that... Thank you for the unlicensed... Okay, here we go. All right. I call it the Predictable Small Business Framework. This is how I look at business. We're not going to talk about all the elements on here, but I want you to see the whole picture, and then we're going to zoom in, and I'll say today, this is where we're talking. It'll make a massive difference when you understand where everything we're doing fits in, and how there are other pieces outside of what we're going to talk about today that have a massive impact in your business. Cool? All right, any questions or comments? Anybody have like a holy crap, I just had an aha moment that you want to share?
No, quick question again. Systems, processes, and
Frameworks.
Thank you.
All right, cool.
I resonated strongly with the what's in the way of getting from decision to things we want is the minutia. That's like totally.
Okay, awesome. And minutia is in here, and minutia is in here. If you apply the how to decide versus how to make decisions framework, that is a framework, it's a system, it's a process to overcome the minutia of how to decide so that you can get to action. And then in the world of action, there's a whole other set of minutia depending on the thing that you're actually trying to do. So this is a framework that I've come up with to help bypass the minutia in action of trying to build a business. This is, yes?
Okay, I don't want to go totally ahead necessarily yet. I am highly quick start, so shiny red truck. How then, when you say just decide, so I have a team and I make a decision, but they have a lot of attention to the detail. And it's quite probable that I need them to say, Deborah, your skis are over the tip of the edge.
Yes. Okay. So
there's that balance whereby.
Should I ruin the surprise, or we're going to talk about the tool that you guys use to handle me?
Well, this is it. That's the combination, so that the team still works and the leader can still envision.
Yes.
We're not really going to talk about the
Okay. All right. So. Okay, here's the answer. There's an African proverb. It says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Here's what that means. It means you cannot decide out here with the team trailing you. You cannot do that. You have to decide back here through the team to go do something. So what it practically looks like is it looks like you are leading, but you're leading through the team. You can't just decide and say, okay, now come along. You don't act. There's a difference between the idea that you have and then actually turn that into so like, look, ideas, if I keep going, ideas are out here. And then there's a decision. You're trying to decide without your team. And I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but what I would suggest is recognize that you have ideas. You might decide an idea that you want to do. That doesn't mean you've decided to go do it as a company. You cannot do that without your team. And there's a tool that we're not going to talk about, but it precedes our entire process. We call it the dream catcher, and it's where they get all of the crazy ideas that I have. I don't know, any entrepreneur ever been like, okay, here's what we're doing today, which is totally different than what I said yesterday, which is totally different than what I said the day before. Okay, we have a tool we created. It's called the dream catcher. They listen. They put it on the dream catcher, and then they just keep going about their deal. It's great. In fact, I'd now tell them, hey, look, guess what? Here's the deal. This is probably on the dream catcher, but I got to get it out of my head. Otherwise, I'm going to be like off over here, and we're trying to go this way. So, okay, that. All right, predictable small business framework. I'm going to go through this real quick. There are 3 components. There is nothing, in my opinion, in small business that falls outside of what these 3 components are. Okay, you start off and you have a vision. And vision is inherently the most generic and overused and misused word on the planet. But you have a vision of how you can serve people and the impact that you can make, right? That's why you got into business. Over here, we have to go get clients. There's a revenue machine. We have to actually go get clients. They have to pay us money so our business can survive, and then we can actually make an impact for those clients. And over here, we've got our back office. We've got to build a team, and we've got to organize that team to actually go make stuff work, right? So everything that you'll ever talk about in business can be viewed through this lens. It falls into one of those 3 buckets. Each of these elements has 3 subcomponents. Okay, so I'm going to start over here on the revenue machine. I think, let me remind myself where my slides go. Yes, revenue machine. The foundation of your revenue machine, and when I say revenue machine, I mean all of the activities that go into advertising to go find leads, prospects, and clients, to turn them into leads, to follow up with them, to turn them into prospects, to follow up with them, to turn them into clients. All of that sits on a foundation of the rhythm that you have for planning all of your marketing and sales and fulfillment so that it actually gets done and it actually moves the business in the direction that you want to go. So there's a rhythm. We're going to talk about that today. There's a narrative. It's the message that you're taking to the marketplace that actually has them feel understood and has them want to do business with you. It resonates with them. And then there's the journey that you actually take people through. So the three components here, which we're going to talk about all three of these today, is there's a rhythm. Your business is in a rhythm of planning. If you want predictable revenue results, then guess what you have to have? Predictable and consistent work that's going into it. That's the rhythm. We're going to break down exactly what that is. And the whole goal of the rhythm is to continue to build initially and then optimize the narrative and the journey. Okay, we're going to talk about all that today. Over here on the back office side, you've got a culture. You've got to identify what kind of culture that you want. We're not going to talk about this today. I could do a whole day just on the culture, on how to identify it. On top of that, you can build a team. And then it's the process of, okay, I know what kind of culture I want. How do I go get the team that actually fits to the culture? And on top of that, it's how do I organize, align, and then actually get work done in my team so we're not wasting time. By my estimation, most small businesses waste at least 50% of their and their team's time in not having decided and then not having an actual system and process in place to have everybody aligned and to go the right direction and to do it without wasting time. Unfortunately, we're not going to talk about that today, but I want to show it to you so you recognize there's a whole world there. And maybe we'll do another event another day or something where we talk about that. Now, all of this sits on a foundation of vision. Okay? In vision, there are three components. At the very, very bottom, this is the one that I see entrepreneurs just forget about the most, is the return. And what I mean by the return is that you've identified what is required for the business to work for you. Most entrepreneurs I find get in, they just start doing stuff, and then they wonder why their business is not giving them the life that they want. It's because they never actually defined it, because had they decided, it would have eliminated a whole bunch of options that never would have worked in the first place. So it starts with return. Second one, you probably heard of this, is the purpose. This is who you're serving, it's how you're serving, it's what you're doing for them. And then on top of that, you've got to stack a financial model. The purpose ought to get you excited to wake up in the morning, like I was excited to wake up this morning because I know exactly what I'm trying to do for the people that are in the room. Now, on the other side, I've also got to have a financial model that balances it to make sure that I'm going to make money. So purpose gets me up in the morning if you have it done correctly. Financial model lets me go to sleep at night. See that? Purpose gets me excited. It gets my team excited. Financial model lets me go to sleep at night. All of this sits on that foundation. When I go to plan my rhythm, do my narrative, do my journey, it's got to fit to the model, it's got to fit to the purpose. When I go to establish my culture, it's got to fit to the purpose. When I go to bring my team on board, I've got to have a model that says that I can afford them, and they've got to line up to my purpose. Same thing with how we do all of our operations. All right, any questions? I'm over time, so I'm going fast, so I apologize, except not really, because this is important. Okay, seriously, like, I know, it's 9 o'clock, but we got to get, there's got to be some laughing or something. You guys are going to kill me. Okay. So look, I want to share, this is the last thing, I got to do this, J-Mac, so sorry. He was telling me about an analogy of how he can adjust, so I'm going to make you adjust. This was a thought I had this morning. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about, everything we talk about is going to live up here, and I'm just going to briefly touch on team and how to build a team this afternoon. But the majority of it is over here. I want you to know that the efficiency and effectiveness of all of this stuff rests on this foundation down here. Now, I woke up this morning and I thought, man, I got to talk about purpose for a second real quick. And the reason why I want to talk about purpose is, I spoke last week, talked to a bunch of people at an event. Actually, I spoke Monday, 2 days ago. Yeah, some of you were there. 2 days ago, talked to a bunch of people afterwards. I've spoke a couple other times the last couple of weeks. Been talking to a lot of entrepreneurs recently, and I've realized how important purpose is, because when I get into their business, I realize one of the critical things that they're missing is purpose done through the right system, process, and framework so that it actually removes minutia and actually gets people excited. So here's, I have, J-Mac shared with me a couple of, we had a couple of people we worked with and actually took them through our process for purpose. And I just want to share with you what they have to say, because I want to impress on your mind the importance of purpose, even though we're not actually going to talk about it today. I just want to mess with your brain, apparently. J-Mac, where's your, here we go. All right. Brett Farr said this: I'm glad I took your advice to heart and completed the Blick Digital Purpose document. That's this right here. The document is the framework we walked him through. Honestly, thank you for sharing this with me, Justin. It was a fun exercise. I was surprised at how effective the prompts were at making me think deeply about the business. Key sentence right here. The clarity, the focus and clarity this created is already changing my business. How long after he did this did he send this to you?
He sent it the day after he did it.
Okay, so 24 hours. Another one, Brian Williams from BHW Consulting. What a powerful exercise. Thank you for all of your encouragement and insight. I've been pumped up for the call. I've been pumped up after our call. I've never been more clear or excited about my business and where I'm taking it. If you do this right, and only you know in your business right now, but if you do this right, it is the thing that has you wake up in the morning excited. And I'm not saying that like a theoretical, like, oh yeah, no, I'm really excited because I'm convincing myself that I'm really excited. When you do this right, it has you identify the reason why you're excited to go serve the people that you're serving. Most people, when they write their purpose document, they put a label together because they think they're supposed to as a marketing employee. This actually connects to you in a way that has you know why you're excited. So here's a thought I had this morning. We're not going to talk about this, but who would like to have access to that process and framework? Okay, so we're a little bit later. By the way, let's be really clear. I'm going to drop a big surprise on you. We are going to offer that you buy stuff from us while you're here. So if anybody has a problem with that, let me know. I'll write you a check and a refund, and you can leave now and not be dragged through the mud of all of our horrible pitching. It's going to happen. So I've added a bonus on the back of it that I haven't even told anybody about, which is I'll actually take you through this whole thing for people that when they get, they'll talk about it later, but later you'll figure out how to get access to that. But I want you to know that when you get this dialed in right, everything else just works. Okay. Yes?
How often do you revisit this?
This is only, I don't know, this is only like 15 years in the process of being revisited, like every day. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a refinement though. So we've got, Ted, you went through a different iteration of this, but you can see the same concepts. How was it for you?
It was good. It was clarifying, and it stimulated questions, and the Q&A helped. It was kind of a dynamic process that developed over time.
So it's the elements. If I showed you all the iterations, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's the same thing. It's just getting better. Because again, what I'm doing is I'm removing minutia in the process. What I'm looking for is, I don't actually need that. I need this. I don't need that. I need this. Okay, so I'm done. I was actually done like 10 minutes ago. I'm done, and the last thing I want to leave you with is the reminder of this. If you have whatever you have that you want, the only way that you will get there is through taking action. And the only way that you can start taking action is by deciding, not making a decision, it's by deciding. And the key to be able to do that more efficiently and more effectively in your business to create the results that you want is recognize that the enemy you're facing every damn day is minutia. And the antidote for minutia is systems, processes, and frameworks. And that's what we're going to dive in and go through today. I don't know what the agenda actually is specifically, but J-Mac's going to come up and talk about it. So hold on a second. Decide, act, and do it in a way that's systematic so you eliminate the minutia, so you have the leftover time in your life to go create the impact that you were put on this earth to actually go create. You were not put on this earth to wade through minutia. Okay, I'm done.